Great, man. Well, I can't wait to see how you progress, how your journey, your reading journey progresses. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
eventually, because you are still young,
Mm-hmm.
I think eventually you'll find what I found, that your mind needs a little bit more stimulus,
Mm-hmm.
and then you will fall into that world of more serious writing, less fantasy and more. I'm not gonna say factual, because I mean I'm talking about the Beat Generation, and Kafka and Henry Miller, and that they didn't write nonfiction; they wrote fiction as well.
Yeah.
Just that based on more realistic situations. The Henry Miller trilogy, Nexus, Plexus, and then and Sexus and Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. I devoured those, and I didn't quite understand. I didn't quite go the way of reading with a dictionary next to me, because I didn't want to break the pattern. I didn't want to break the flow of the stories.
Yeah.
But I loved it, and it teaches you a lot about human nature.
Mm-hmm.
And there's characters in there that you can relate to, others that you don't, and I think eventually you'll find that you need to get away from the world of pure science fiction and fantasy to be able to relate to more characters.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. I mean, I already said I feel like I will do that at some point. It's just right now, I'm enjoying these books, and I want to read these. Kind of finish these trilogies that I've started, and these series that I've started, like the Lord of the Rings. Maybe I don't know if I'll finish Dune anytime soon, because there's like 7 books or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't have them all already, so it's kind of hard to get them all.
I've only read the first one, I think, in Dune.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
But like I said, I'm. That's one thing that really caught me off guard that I liked, was that I really liked the political side of things, like kind of in everything, same as in the Lord of the Rings, and
right.
like I said, in Star Wars, as well as in Harry Potter. It caught me off guard, because I feel like in movies sometimes when it's the political side, I get a bit bored.
Yeah.
Kind of what happens in the beginning of the Phantom Menace in Star Wars, the movie, obviously, and as well as the Attack of the Clones. Those parts of the movies, they're kind of slow, and I don't know what it is about in the books. I feel like it engages me a lot more than in movies.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but anyways.
Well, because you've always liked history, right? And history is based on the world of politics and the way the politicians grew up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense. It makes sense. I've always shied away from that. For instance, I've never liked politics. So any kind of, when it was too political, in fact, things like the Phantom Menace and Star Wars, apart whether it's a good film or not, which is up for debate, what bored the crap out of me was all those debates in the Senate. I was like, oh, come on, get on with it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't quite interested in the actual debate. I was interested in the outcome of the debate.
Mm-hmm.
But you've always liked history, and you've always liked that kind of stuff. So that's fair enough. I think you'll like. I think once you find yourself being enriched, your brain being enriched by literature, I think that's where you really find the use of it and the beauty of it.
Yeah.
When you hear yourself talking in the same way your books talk, that's when you say like, oh man, and then you'll go back for more.